The longest-running and successful science fiction show in the history of TV began airing on the BBC in 1963. The producer, Verity Lambert, was the youngest and only female producer at the BBC when the show began. And that's a picture of her around the time the show started. And a picture before she passed away in 2007. The show has been nominated for 230 different awards and won a total of 128, including British Academy Television Awards, called BAFTAs, and Hugo Awards. Last year, it celebrated its 50th anniversary. The title, of course, is Doctor Who. What you saw is the original opening credits from 1963. They may not seem very fancy by 2014 standards, but the special effect that created those swirling visuals was a brand new invention for the show called HowlRound. That clip and the others I will share are, of course, copyright from the BBC. They still use the same theme song today, though they have updated it several times over the years. Fans of Doctor Who, we call ourselves Whovians, face a unique challenge when asked, so what's the show about? Well, the literal answer is that it's about a humanoid alien who travels through space and time in a sentient ship that looks like a 1960s British police box. The answer is often met with skepticism. And did I mention that the alien, called the Doctor, doesn't die? He instead regenerates into a new version of himself, conveniently allowing the role to be taken over by new actors every few years. In fact, the character has worn 13 different faces to date, each with a unique personality. Okay, so it sounds a wee bit weird. To be fair, it is science fiction, and there is definitely weirder stuff out there. I like to call it science fantasy. But perhaps a better answer to the question, what is it about, would be to quote Scottish-American TV host and fellow Whovian, Craig Ferguson. Doctor Who, as he said, is about the triumph of intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism. It is ultimately, despite scenes of heart-wrenching drama, a hopeful show, a show inspired by the best qualities of humanity. It is a show that celebrates the beauty of the universe and the privilege we have to enjoy its best offerings. Perhaps no episode encapsulates these themes more than the episode Vincent and the Doctor, which I'll be discussing today. The original intent of the Doctor Who creators was that the show could be educational for children, traveling to the future to educate them about science, and to the past to educate them about history. In fact, in the original early episodes, two of the characters were a science teacher and a history teacher traveling with the Doctor. And while it evolved into more entertainment than education, the show is still able to relive past events and revive great historical figures when the Doctor travels to the past, as he and his companion do in this fan-favorite episode. They have even, in other episodes, visited Shakespeare and Queen Elizabeth and Marco Polo. So now, if you can open your teal hymn books to 1008, we'll sing the hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. my internet connection is just running a little slow today, so. But we'll do our best, and hopefully the clips will all play all right. So, on March 30th, 1852, a baby boy was born to Theodorus van Gogh and his wife Anna. They named their stillborn and firstborn son Vincent. It was not uncommon at the time to reuse a name, which is why exactly 1 year later, when another baby boy was born, he was also given the family name of Vincent. That baby grew to be one of the most famous painters in all history. Though his mother taught all her children to draw, Vincent did not begin his painting career until his late 20s, after hopping from one unsuccessful pursuit to another, such as art dealing and missionary work. But in a short time, Vincent worked as a painter. He produced 860 oil paintings, plus numerous watercolors, drawings, and prints. During his too short and too troubled life, he knew only failure commercially, despite his prolific works and creative innovation, which hindsight allows us to now appreciate. No one can say with any certainty what was the cause of Vincent's sufferings. Many have guessed, postulating diagnoses from bipolar disorder, epilepsy, to schizophrenia, and even theories including poisoning from ingesting paint. But what we do know is that he did suffer deeply and fatally. But he also experienced periods of passion and ecstasy, and he left a legacy of artistic beauty that still touches people worldwide hundreds of years after his death, and inspires other artists, including writers, to create their own beautiful works, such as the Doctor Who episode called Vincent and the Doctor. The episode opens as the Doctor takes his friend and current traveling companion Amy to a Van Gogh exhibit at the Orsay in Paris. And true to form for this sci-fi show, they stumble into some trouble.
There it is, the actual one.
Yes. You can almost feel it's unveiling it right in front of you, carving the colours into shape. Wait a minute.
What?
Well, just look at that.
What?
Something very unfamiliar.
Something very unfamiliar.
Look there at the window of the church.
Is it a face?
Yes. But not a nice face at all. I know evil when I see it, and I see it in that window.
It has changed hands for something in the region of 20.
Excuse me if I can just interrupt for 1 second. Sorry everyone. Routine inspection, Ministry of Art and Artifice. So,
Doctor Black.
yes, that's right. Do you actually know when that picture of the church was painted?
What an interesting question. Most people
You don't
imagine...
have to hurry, you won't ask it. Exactly, as exactly as you can without a long speech, because I'm in a hurry.
Well, in that case, probably somewhere between the 1st and 3rd of June.
What year?
1890, less than a year before he killed himself.
Thank you, sir. Very helpful indeed.
Nice bit tiny.
Very trying to cool.
Yours is very hard.
Thank you. Keep telling us stuff. Here we go. Why do you have a picture? Art can wait. This is life and death. We need to talk to Vincent van Gogh.
So they hop in the Doctor's time machine, called the TARDIS, which stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space, and go stay with Vincent himself while they pursue the alien of the week. Staying with Vincent is a wondrous opportunity. Amy and the Doctor are able to admire his work more intimately than in any museum.
Watch out, that one's wet.
What?
Some contact. I've come to accept the only person who's going to love my painting is me.
Wow. I mean, really.
Yeah, I know, it's a mess. I'll have a proper playwright. I really must. Coffee, anyone?
Not for me, actually.
Yeah.
You should be careful with these. They're precious.
Not precious to me, not precious to anyone else.
They're precious to me.
Well, you're very kind. Kindness is most welcome.
During their time with Vincent, the doctor witnesses firsthand the high and low moods for which Van Gogh is so well known.
Okay, so let's talk about you then. What are you interested in?
Well, look around. Art. Well, it seems to me there's so much more to the world than the average eyes allow to see. I believe if you look hard, there are more wonders in this universe than you could ever have dreamed of.
You don't have to tell me.
And a sadder low point.
Vincent? Vincent?
Vincent, can I help?
You clearly cannot help. And when you leave and everyone always leaves, I will be left once more with an empty heart and no hope.
My experience is that there is, surprisingly, always hope.
Then your experience is incomplete. I know how it will end. If it will not end well.
Come on, let's go outside.
Get out! What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I'll leave. I'll leave you.
In this fictionalized account of Vincent, despite his problems, he's hugely important to the Doctor's quest to find the big bad alien. Now, I won't spoil the fun and adventure of the alien intrigue. You can watch the episode yourself for that. Ultimately, the plot line just serves as a vehicle to not only honor Vincent van Gogh, but to provide a means of commentary on not just his life, but life for all of us. The highlight of this episode, a scene that is a fan favorite, is when the story imagines what would have happened if Vincent van Gogh had access to a time machine like the TARDIS and could travel to our time to see what became of his life's work.
Where are we? Paris, 2010 AD, and this is the mighty Musée d'Orsay, home to many of the greatest paintings in history.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Ignore that, I've got something more important to show you.
All your chances while you can. You never know when they'll pass you by. So the mathematician can solve. Like me, trying my hardest to explain. It's all about you, crossing kisses, those first steps there. I can't calculate.
We met a few days ago. I was asked you about the championship. Oh, yes. Glad to be of help. You were nice about my tie.
Yes, and today is another cracker, if I may say so. But I just wondered, between you and me, in 100 words, where do you think Van Gogh rates in the history of art?
Well, big question about them, but to me, Van Gogh is the finest painter of them all. Certainly the most popular, great painter of all time. The most beloved. His command of colour, the most magnificent. He transformed the pain has tormented life into ecstatic beauty. Pain is easy to portray, but to use your passion and pain to portray the ecstasy and joy and magnificence of our world, no one had ever done it before. Perhaps no one ever will again. To my mind, that strange, wild man who roamed the fields of Provence was not only the world's greatest artist, but also one of the greatest men who ever lived.
Vincent, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, is it too much?
No. I have tears of joy.
After dropping Vincent back off in his own time, Amy insists on returning to the museum to see the hundreds of new paintings she's sure will be there. Now that Vincent has been given such joy and hope, she is positive he will have continued to paint instead of taking his own life.
We have here the last works of Vincent van Gogh, who committed suicide at only 37. He is now acknowledged to be one of the foremost artists of all time. If you follow me now.
So you were right. No one paintings. We didn't make a difference at all.
I wouldn't say that. I always say every life is a pile of good things and bad things. Hey, the good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa. The bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant. And we definitely added to his pile of good things.
So even in the fictional world of Doctor Who, Vincent's tragedy was not prevented. And the Doctor himself is no stranger to tragedy. He's lost many loved ones over the course of the show. He's the last of his kind. In fact, his whole planet is gone. But like Craig Ferguson said, Doctor Who is about the triumph of intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism. More than that, it's about hope. It is the story of a soul who goes ever forward. Terrible, horrible things happen to the Doctor. It isn't just that he never gives up on outsmarting the bad guys and winning the day. He never gives up on the beauty of the universe. After every loss and every heartache, the Doctor keeps going. But the great hope of Doctor Who is that terrible anguish does not necessarily ruin a life. The Vincent episode touches on this principle so succinctly, playing the parallel of a real-world person against that of the fictional Doctor. Vincent van Gogh suffered terribly in his life, but not only was he able to find beauty in the world, he left more beauty behind. He made our world better. It is tragic that he ended his life so young and in such a sad state, but that end doesn't erase every beautiful thing that came before it. If the Doctor can make the universe a better place despite his own suffering, and if Vincent can also, then surely we can despite our own problems, which many times seem insignificant in comparison. And if the Doctor and Vincent can find beauty and get excited about the world around them and the gifts they possess, then surely we can take time to do the same. The Doctor finds a way to be enthusiastic about whatever surrounds him, even the scary stuff. Vincent van Gogh reveled in the beauty of this world, even as he felt the weight of it upon his shoulders. And I don't know about you, but that gives me hope that I can do the same. Now we'll sing hymn number, there's actually a correction on that. It is hymn number 326 in the Grey Hymnal, Let All the Beauty We Have Known.
And now you all know one of the many reasons Doctor Who is my all-time favorite TV show. It gives me hope. To once again quote Craig Ferguson, "And if there is any hope for any of us in this giant explosion in which we inhabit, then surely that's it. intellect and romance's triumph over brute force and cynicism. It might be easy to take a cynical view of this episode's end. After all, Vincent still took his own life, just as he did in real life. And in real life, his death was a terrible loss for his beloved brother Theo and for the world. To paraphrase one of the Doctor's lines from a different episode, all the elements in your body were forged many, many millions of years ago in the heart of a faraway star that exploded and died. That explosion scattered those elements across the desolations of deep space. After so many millions of years, these elements came together to form new stars and new planets, and on it went. The elements came together and burst apart, forming shoes and ships and sealing wax and cabbages and kings, until eventually they came together to make you. You are unique in the universe. There is only one you, and there will never be another. Getting rid of that existence isn't a sacrifice. It is a waste. The Doctor once said, after inquiring who someone was and receiving the answer, "Nobody important." "Nobody important? Blimey, that's amazing! You know that in 900 years of time and space, and I've never met anybody who wasn't important before." It is a beautiful idea, and I believe an important truth. Everyone is important, and no life should be wasted. Unfortunately, beauty and hope and moments of joy are not enough to combat the very real problems of mental illness. There's no shame in that. Depression is a disease as real as any other. Nobody can simply will themselves out of depression by trying to see the glass as half full. How fortunate we are to live in a time and place where we can access help when needed. How differently things might have been for Vincent if he had had the same good fortune. But when we face the little sorrows and mundane frustrations, the pile of bad things, as the Doctor might say, that are part of normal life, we can remember the examples, real and fictional, presented by Vincent and the Doctor. We can cling to beauty. We can hold tight to the wonders life presents us. We can allow the magic of optimism to illuminate our pile of good things, so that a crummy day, a flat tire, a screaming baby, a rude encounter, or any other little bad thing will be lost in the shadow cast by that light of hope. I am, I think, inherently prone to cynicism, but I now try to embrace the outlook of the Doctor. As he once said, I am, and always will be, the optimist, the hoper of far-flung hopes and the dreamer of improbable dreams.
May that romantic notion be an idea we write upon our hearts. May we embrace optimism in our daily troubles. And may we, even if we live to be 900 years old, never grow bored with the beauty and wonder that surrounds us.